Guys, welcome to Prince of Peace Tarot. I'm Justin, and tonight I want to have a collective conversation. Okay, so the collective conversation is to sort of sum up the energies that I've seen for the readings that I've done for every zodiac sign for the month. Okay, so for the month of September, um, the energy that I was seeing was a lot of cycles, a lot of new cycles starting, things ending, and when one cycle ends, another one begins. There was a lot of endings of relationships and a lot of divine unions that I saw. And with the divine union readings, I saw that one partner was constantly like hesitating, jumping into the relationship. Feeling unsure because of past hurts that they had gone through, or maybe they were dealing with friends and family saying that maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship with this person, but this person is actually like your divine partner. Because when in a spread, when you see cards like the Two of Cups and the Ten of Cups, that's usually a person who's your soulmate, who you should actually step into a union with. So there was a lot of that. A lot of transitions, a lot of people getting new jobs. I know I've had personal readings with people who are getting new jobs that I saw in their spread. So it's a lot of changes going on, and I think sometimes these changes and this energy is confusing to people, and the fear that they have about these changes is because that they're unaware of cycles. Okay, a lot of people don't know when to end relationships and jobs, start new relationships and start new beginnings in jobs and relationships and other things like that, because they don't understand cycles and where cycles come from. And everything has cycles. Even in nature we see cycles. Okay, so the earth has its own cycles. And you, as a spiritual being, have cycles. Okay, so after like looking at all these energies, it sparked me to want to do a collective conversation. And I was thinking, because I had learned in my own training, still learning about mind, body, and spirit. So I was like, okay, since we're seeing all these cycles popping up in everybody's cards, let's talk about where they come from, how they're initiated, and thinking of mind, body, spirit. Spirit is the first thing that we're going to discuss in order to understand where cycles come from. So the first thing I want to say is that the spirit and the soul are not the same thing. Okay? So soul is eternal, and today's session will only be about spirit. And at the end of the session, I'm going to discuss soulmates. But today we're just going to talk about spirit, and the next conversation that we have will be about soul, and then we'll touch body. We'll probably touch mind, and we'll touch on ego as well. So, okay. So the spirit and soul are not the same. They're two different things, and the biggest difference is soul is eternal, and spirit is created, and spirit is also changing. Okay, the soul does not change. Okay, so that soul is the part of the creator that lives in you. All right, it's the part of the creator that lives in you, because you are the creator having an experience here on earth as a human being. All right, so in order to have that experience, you need to have a spirit, and the spirit is a creation. A spirit is thought. It possesses character and personality. So whoever you think you are, that personality you identify with, that's your spirit. Okay, if people say like, oh my god, so and so is so funny, and oh, this person, they so sarcastic, and that you just have this way about you, that is a chosen spirit that your soul had in order to traverse the earth plane. Okay, so spirit, and I got notes, guys, so bear with me. I got them in order, but they're here, there, and everywhere. Spirit changes, and because it changes, it's not real. And by that what I'm saying by that is that anything real is constant, like the soul. and not changing. I'm not saying that the spirit is bad, but it's a temporal thing, because life on earth is temporary. You know, we won't always be the personalities that we are right now. I'm not always going to be Justin, and in linear time of past lives, I wasn't Justin. In this life, I'm Justin. Okay? So, your spiritual personality is the perspective you utilize to view the world, which I just touched on. So, just to put some tarot in there, the spiritual personality, being the perspective you utilize to view the world, reminded me of the Hangman card. Okay, so the Hangman card is a man hanging upside down with one leg. One leg is tied up and one arm is tied up. And that's kind of saying that this guy's trying to slow himself down in order to see, after all the lessons he's learned in life, where does he really want to go? Like, who am I really, and how do I view the world? How does the world view me? And how do I want to continue on with the rest of my life? And when I see that card, it reminds me of the spirit's changing nature, because in this instance, this man's character and personality, which the spirit contains, is going to change, because based off his old behaviors and patterns, he's looking like, I'm ready to break those old behaviors and patterns, become someone different, and live my life this way now. Okay? So when you see the Hangman card, that's sort of like that transition, that the changingness that I just mentioned of the spirit. Okay? So when a person is at this stage, I believe, okay, right, I just said that. These are my notes. I told you guys I'm reading my notes. So, yeah. So when the person is at this stage, I believe that the soul is calling for the spirit to actually go through a change, you know, to go through its fixed change in order for it to experience a new life cycle, in order for it to fulfill its purpose. So you always want to align with an energy that keeps you close to your soul, and for your soul to fulfill its current purpose. And I say current purpose because there's a purpose for the life you have here on earth. Once you die, hopefully you fulfill that, because in your next life you will have a different purpose. Okay, so like I said before, your spiritual personality isn't real, and when you over identify with your personality, you will get tricked into illusions. Okay, illusions of power, and then you end up, these weird illusions of power, these things that you think make you powerful, will actually disassociate you from real power. So real power lies within the soul. And what I mean by like illusions of power, it's, you know, when people say like, you try to get by on charm, or, you know, good looks, or, oh, you try to get by with your humor and things like that, like constantly using personality traits to push you through. Okay, when you're relying on things that you really can't rely on, because those things are going to change. Why? Because they're part of the spirit, and the spirit is already set for you to change. So even when you find yourself over relying on personality traits, it's like it's time for you to drop that, let that go. Okay, so real empowerment comes from the soul, but let's focus on the spirit. Okay, so the spirit is like a tool. Like your personality and all these traits are tools for your soul in order to express itself on this plane. And I have to say it because we can't literally, and I can't explain it to you, but, you know, take what resonates. You can't conceptualize how big the soul is. Like, big isn't even a good enough word for it. Your soul and your spirit and your ego all have to be layered in sort of matrices. You know, there's a matrix, there's a soul matrix, there's all kinds of different layers in order to bring you down to form and have this projection that we see right now in front of us when you look in the mirror or you look at others, in order for it to like work here. You know, if your whole soul inhabited your body, it would probably burst. There would be no 3D if the whole soul was trying to inhabit here. That's not possible. That's why this life is temporary life, you know? So you're here to just do something. So you don't over-identify with the material world. Always remember, you are a energetic being before anything. Okay? So, all right. Where are we at? Yeah. So your spirit and your spirit as a tool is not real empowerment. Okay? Real empowerment. So your soul lives in the highest realms of existence, and that's where real empowerment lies. Your spirit can never even go there. It just doesn't exist up there. Okay? So you come into the world with a chosen spirit or personality. Okay? The spirit changes and morphs based on life experiences and associations. This has been predetermined and designed at the soul level. The changes and morphing of your spirit are changes that you should never fight. Okay, so yes, remember that changes are predetermined in the spirit, and new cycles always need to be respected. Okay. Now, the biggest roadblock in stepping into a cycle is fear. Okay, because we were talking about, the hesitation that certain people have in stepping into their divine unions, um, and also people like fearing, starting anything like the new relationships, the new jobs, the new whatever. Okay. So it's that fear that holds you back that you gotta get over. Don't let fear in at all. Face fear and just get past it. Okay. So misalignments can occur also, on your path. Misalignments can occur from emotional imbalance and spiritual oppression. Okay, so you want to stay centered. A great way to stay centered and balanced is meditation. And that's really what meditation is just getting still with yourself. And then some people are like, oh, I think a bunch of thoughts. Okay, cool. Let's start to recognize those thoughts and delete them, especially the ones that don't bring forth like any fruit to the mind. Okay, so it's basically stopping the mind chatter and just focusing on the now, being present. So you could even try like when you're shopping or when you're doing anything. It's to, when you feel your mind wander, just say, no, I don't want to think about that. I'm focusing on the present, like where I am right now. So that's one way you can keep in alignment. All right. So what you have to do is you have to keep yourself, this personality self, the self that you identify with, you have to keep yourself anchored onto your soul so that your soul and spirit become one. So that you and your personality and your soul are living day to day in union. All right. So how do you keep yourself anchored? You keep yourself anchored through your character. Okay. And remember, we said character is a part of the spirit. So the way you keep proper character is you practice right behaviors. Okay. So you practice behaviors that are in alignment with your soul. And that also takes you to recognize, like, what am I here for? Or what do I believe I'm here for? What do I gravitate to? What have I always liked since I was young? What have I been afraid? Honestly, you'll find out your purpose in life is whatever you're afraid to go into most times. What am I afraid to go into and I haven't tried yet? Okay. This will cause your spirit to be in sync with your soul. A spirit in sync with soul intention and soul direction is a spirit perfected. Okay. All right. So now that we got all that out of the way, and I mean, there's a whole bunch more that I could talk about with spirit, but in order to keep on topic with what I was saying about, like just not being afraid and determining where cycles come from, we'll just talk about the spirit you chose. Because yes, you did come here with multiple spirits, and by that I mean like ancestral spirits, spirit guides. You're going to interact with the spirits of the earth, with nature spirits. You're going to interact with ghost spirits. You're going to interact with elementals, with all kinds of things you don't see. This is vast amount of life, that you don't detect with the five senses, but is all around you all the time. So you're going to interact with a lot of stuff, but for the purpose of this conversation, we're talking about this personality spirit that you've chosen right now. So now let's talk about a soulmate. And I know you're like, well, you said we were only doing spirit. Why are you talking about soulmates? Because when the spirit is ready to begin a new cycle, sometimes cycles involve other people. Okay? So you come across a soulmate when you get magnetized towards a soul family or an intimate relationship with another who is entering into the same ascension cycle as you. That's when you meet a soulmate. That's when you're like, why am I so drawn to this person? Okay, like what is going on? Okay, so at this stage of spiritual initiation, and this is to ascend in cycles, you are being initiated into a different level of consciousness. All right, so that's the initiation. You're upgrading your consciousness. So at this stage of spiritual initiation, some people move from karmic 3D relationships and alchemical union lessons to outwardly manifesting the first stages of a co-creating divine union partnership. Let's rewind. Now I mentioned they move out of karmic 3D relationships and alchemical union lessons. What we're talking about now is the karmic that you hear about in tarot readings. Usually, like for me or for others, it's that narcissistic relationship you were in or that toxic relationship you were in. Those relationships help bring out your shadow side, help you to learn. I feel like it's like a quick learning. Like all that stuff that's laying dormant that you're keeping down because you're trying to act a certain way in life and get going along just to get along. Those karmic relationships pull up all the dirt, and they allow you to see you, and you get to shuffle that around and dust yourself off and get right, get back into the person who you believe the person you believe you're supposed to be. Okay. So once you see that those relationships are ending, you're finding yourself, for most people, cycling into something new. And this is the thing, like when I was looking into the readings, I would try to see like, why is this person afraid to step into the new? Because in the spread, you go, here's your Two of Cups, but then I'm seeing, Three of Swords. That's heartbreak. 10 of Swords. Pain you can't come back from. That's why they're so hurt. So once you get out of these karmic relationships, you have to be able to release your baggage. Let all that go. You can enter a relationship, and what I'm trying to say is, because I think a lot of people think that we need to be perfect in order to have the right kind of relationship, or that we can't meet a person halfway. We are all imperfect beings down here. Okay. So what I would tell you to do, this is what for your relationship, for your soulmate relationships, because a lot of soulmates, your relationship is so important with this person that it's literally pulling you guys together. It's okay. It's like that. So sometimes those lessons that people learn, they let those lessons break them because they don't realize that they're learning. How do I say this? That pain and all of that. And I've done videos about the narcissist and how the pain is for your good. You learn out of that pain. It pushes you forward. It wakes, what it does is it wakes you up out of the illusion of who you are. Okay. Take that. Hopefully it hits you where it's supposed to, and you get what I'm saying. Because sometimes we're living a fake version of ourselves, that our experience of losing a job, losing a car, losing a relationship, wake up your real you. Okay. And your partner, your soul partner, probably went through something similar to that too. You know, the person you meet as a soulmate isn't going to be somebody who hasn't been through something. All right. So that's why I'm saying, like, you don't necessarily have to be perfect, but you need to be willing to work on yourself, whether it's before getting into the relationship or while you're in the relationship. And this is just some stuff to do while you're in the relationship. All right. So it says you need to choose truth and honesty in all interactions that flush out deception and untrustworthy behavior that you may display because of old patterns and old relationships. You know, maybe you're like keeping your phone always to yourself or something you did because it's something you had to do to keep yourself protected from your old partner. You could let those old things go with this new partner, okay? So also the both of you need to make it safe to speak about a range of deeply challenging topics, things that you guys been through, okay? In order to build trust and remain unconditionally loving and accepting of each other in every circumstance. Now, I'm not telling you guys that, you know, if your divine partner is acting up, that you should just be like, oh, you know, that's my divine partner. They can do whatever they want. No. Honestly, once they get into this union, you guys got to start, you know, making ground rules and talking about what a healthy relationship looks like for you guys and strive for that and practice that. Okay. And honestly, let me tell you, like, once you find that kind of person, the love is so strong that you're going to want to make these changes. You should go ahead and do it. It'd be weird, strange to fight real love. Okay. So also, you need to be vulnerable with each other about your fears and your weaknesses in order to emotionally and spiritually heal. So it's not going to be beneficial for you to build walls up around yourself with a person who is your divine partner. Okay, because honestly, you guys will mutually heal each other. That's another reason why you guys are coming together. Now, why you have a soulmate, I don't know. You and your soulmate are agreeing to be together. And whatever your purpose is in life and their purpose is in life, to come together to do whatever you're going to do, that's your purpose. And that's the great thing about, you know, seeing what is this relationship going to birth? Like, what is this going to be about? You gotta don't be afraid to step into it, because something new is going to come out of you two coming together. So that's all I have right now for spirit. The next thing we're going to talk about, well, I'll figure it out. It's either going to be the body, it's going to be mind, or it's going to be soul. But I have to go through my notes to see like what makes sense. Going over spirit first made sense to me because there were so many cycles and transitions for the month of September that are probably going to continue throughout the year. But in order for people to realize like, oh, okay, this overwhelming feeling to go and do this, to be with this person, to start this new project, is because my soul is asking me to change in order for it to keep going towards its purpose. Okay? So when you stop identifying yourself so much as a personality or so much with the material world, and I'm not calling the material world bad, and your personality isn't bad, but that feeling, that anxiety, that like, what the hell is going on feeling is real. And you need to accept that it's time to make a shift. Your personality is not going to go away. It's just going to change. Okay. It's the same thing that like some people go through. I've heard women say like, I never wanted kids and I was never maternal, but after I had a baby, I'm so maternal. I'm starting to act like this and act like that. After this, and which I mentioned before, experiences change the spirit, change the personality, change character. So it's gonna happen anyway. Okay. So like in tarot, for instance, when you see these major arcana cards, the Wheel, the Hangman, the Death card, the Tower card, Judgment, the World, all these things are set. Tarot already knows that your spirit is coming through with all these set changes. It wouldn't exist in the cards if it wasn't something that was going to happen to you either way, you know? So honor these changes. Go in, Be excited, be scared, but still go and do it. You know, that's the excitement of life. So, okay, guys, that's all I got. And another video will be coming soon. All right.